Keynote. I'm glad to welcome Towqeer. He will talk about barriers to entry for Web3 media and gaming companies. I'm really curious to hear your thought, your statement about it. Towqeer, one of my first business 28 years ago was publishing magazine, and I have been involved in media and marketing during some long time now. So I'm really impatient. Welcome and thanks for bringing your contribution to this Web3 Stronger Together virtual summit. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me here. My name is Towqeer. I'm based in Dubai. I'm the CEO of mChain, and we also have uh, mChain is basically an user-based acquisition company, and we also have an esports organization called Stalwart Esports. Currently, uh, one of the things that we take pride in is being a part of esports and actually doing good at it. So we are ranked globally number two, and in South Asia number one. Um, what basically when we say that we are a user-based acquisition company, by that what we mean is that we are not a conventional marketing company, but we are mainly the end result of what marketing provides, that is the user base. And we have over the span of time in last 3 years, we have been extensively working in South Asia, MENA, Middle East, North Africa, that is, and Turkey as well. So we, along with our other subsidiary companies or co-companies, we are the CSPs, exclusive CSPs for Facebook Gaming. We are also the CSPs for the world's largest independent game streaming platform called Loco. And then also at the same time, we are the co-creation partners for Tencent in South Asia and comms partners with Tencent in Turkey. We have roughly estimated a subscription base across all our particular gaming creators and esports players of around 500 million plus. And we roughly generate more than 4 to 5 billion viewership every month on mainly on the gaming content. And not just only we do the segmented marketing in gaming, but we do work with other particular products as well. Now we have been working with one of the biggest global publishers, likes of or game companies like Tencent, like Kraft and Riot, and Garena. All of these particular organizations who have a very immense market share in the gaming industry. Um, we we started when from a gaming perspective. We started as a very small esports organization called Stalwart Esports. Was started by my younger brother, who who was a kid from North India, and then basically scaled it up at the age of 15 years, 16 years, and now making it one of the best organizations in South Asia with a reputation of hyper competitive performances. So coming to now today's topic, what basically are the barriers for Web3 oriented games? What are the barriers to entry into the market? But I think on a larger scale, when we look at the majority of the crypto community or like Web3 games, I do believe that they are way faster and they are way skilled than conventional Web2 game developers. However, a lot of Web2 game developers have also switched to Web3 game developers, but there is a lot of lacking under you can say in understanding of how the game works post production. What I mean by that is like you can develop a game, it can be an amazing game, but if it doesn't have a publishing strategy, it creates a lot of issues for the game to be scaled on a larger level. Now, if the biggest aspect, I'll give you a few examples how to articulate it better. Is if we look at Tencent, or if we look at Activision, who have done Call of Duty, uh, they developed a game for tentatively around $15 million, and roughly spent around $150 million on the distribution of the game. And how do they basically did that? And initially not having to so many sources as, or so much of internet distribution system at that time, but they scaled it manually, as well as had to create new channels into the certain specific regions from on the eastern side, to create those distribution networks, and make sure that users are acquired. Post that, we saw many games coming on, into the market. And let's say the another very big one was PUBG Mobile, which has one of the highest active users in the market. They spend around 8 to 9 million on developing the game and acquiring the game, and eventually they spent around $45 million overall in distributing and publishing the game. Now, what do we learn from that is the cost of development, or and the cost to distribution is higher, because they have to generate and develop that, acquire those users, and not only just acquire the users, they have to retain the users. Now, if most of the Web3 community think about that, the biggest problem with gamer is actually onboarding them, and then making them understand how MetaMask works, or how to connect that particular game to the third party apps, and swap crypto and everything. But I don't think that is the main barrier to entry. A gamer exactly knows how to figure those things out. If we understand the nature of the games that they have been playing with, they're way more complicated than just connecting a wallet. So I don't think connecting a wallet or anything browser based game is something that at first they prefer, but at the same time, an integral dashboard solve a lot of, or in which we call in-game wallets, to sort a lot of issues. But the usual game strategy for game distribution strategy or marketing strategy for any particular game developer uh, is user-based acquisition. And when we get to that, there are specific steps to how to acquire that user. So there are, you can say, UGC strategies that are basically warming up the market, then which usually is using the social aspects of the game and distributing the game on the social channels and keeping the continuous flow, and centralized launch system. We have done one of the launches back in India, which has a world record of 580,000 concurrent live viewers for the game launch. So you have to basically have a strategy to launch the game. You have to basically take the game in the market with the right approach, and rather than just relying on non-relevant KOLs or non-relevant content strategy. So, and also they have to also, one of the important things is that what we realize in a lot of the Web3 games, that they don't go at the data and statistics in terms of the conversion and impression rates. So, how the media distribution has to be done. So they emphasize more on a short term strategy than thinking about the long term strategy. If we take when we go to the market with a game, we don't have to go with the approach that I'm going to be competing against the other Web2 game publishers, but rather than basically utilizing and onboarding users from their game into our own game, and slowly scale up. Because we know for a fact that right now the scalability is one of the issues. It cannot handle peak 20 million daily active users like Tencent's games are doing, or some of them 10 million, 8 million daily active users, or monthly active users crossing around 70, 80 million. So we have to, if we get a minority chunk of that, so we have to take care of those. So now when we are actually taking the game to the market utilizing UGC, by UGC I mean like user generated content. So the user generated content comes through multiple um, uh, multiple aspects, and those multiple aspects are how to basically make people aware of the game and how to basically make them understand the gameplay. This can only be done through the gaming creators. Now, if the gaming creators out there from the Web2 gaming market, and if they understand the game and they are explaining this game to their particular audience, their conversion and impression rate is way higher. They have a way better, they have a way better approach and understanding, or their audience has a way better understanding of the game, which a lot of Web3 games don't really do. And they don't really follow those structures in their go-to-marketing strategy. And post that, you have to have a very smart and strategic launch for the game. Not only looking at when we talk about the concept of community in Web3, or it's a lot used into the Web3 market. The marketing is not only about Web3 community, and it should mainly be about like the overall community building. Like for an instance, the Indian gaming community is around 400 million gamers. The South Asian gaming community is more than 800 million gamers, 700 million gamers. Now that is kind of a community building that people every single day, not only they do come and play the game, but they watch other creators play the game. So that sort of community building is still missing. And at the same time, if we see that if we are publishing the game within the Web3 community, only within the Web3 community, it creates a lot of challenges because it often for the developers itself, because people from the Web3 gaming community, they will mainly be coming in, most of them with an idea of buying those assets and trading those assets. There is no hardcore Web3 gamer who plays the game for the love of it, but rather than compared to the other Web2 games. So I think a lot of concepts have to be pushed further, which specifically inclines towards you can say free to play models, making sure that there is an app. We are not browser. I don't think browser based games have really that kind of a future. Make sure that one of the biggest aspects, which is one of the another important barrier towards Web3 gaming, there is no esports development. I have not seen many games. I have seen very few games that we have also been working with who understand the concept of developing esports into this, because that automatically creates a strong, viable community for any game. Now, it takes it not only just I personally believe that as a Web2 game organization, or being into the Web2 game tournament organizers as well. We do some of the tournament organizing for Web2 games, and if we look into that, we have some major challenges when it comes to the payoff of these particular tournaments. And blockchain sort of solves that. If we play a Web3 game via smart contracts, there are a lot of projects who are instilling the concept of instant prize pools, where Web2 gamers have to face a challenge of 5 6 months delay in the payments, and facing the struggles of transfers and everything. Because a gamer can be from anywhere. He can be from any particular country who might be under certain sanctions and so on and so forth. But which we believe that through dashboard dashboard tokenized mechanics, you can instantly not just pay them in your own token, but maybe even a stable coin, you can pay them off straight away. Then that solves a lot of issues for smart contracts. Now, by when the pre-hype of the game is built, how basically there should be co-creation programs as well in Web3 games. I have not seen anyone doing co-creation programs. The co-creation programs means that you have to basically make the audience understand that there is much more to um, uh, incentivize these esports teams or these gamers to continue generating content on that based on the KPIs. You set up the KPIs, minimum deliverables for these, and make sure that they distribute the content. When the content is distributed, it's distributed. When, sorry, content is developed, is distributed. It's distributed on internet. And that's how you basically one of the other strategies, and you put them on a monthly retainer, all these esports players. Now if you give a 16, 17-year-old kid who is a good gamer an additional $1,000 or $500 for an instance, and he generates content on that, it creates it enlarges your viable community, and it helps you in creating that viable product. And usually you get through that particular your viable product, you get a larger scale in the community, and you get a feedback that you can generate on. Now the niche of the game can be specifically from into you can be into any kind of game development. You have to find, one of the important things is that you have to find your target audience. Like let's say MOBA or MOBA type of games are mainly famous in Southeast Asia. In West, League of Legends is pretty big. In East, it is not big. In South Asia, it's like PUBG Mobile, or it is Free Fire in MENA, or it is let's say Valorant, and now becoming big in Southeast Asia and South Asia combined. So we have to see that we don't have to go against those particular ideas, but we have to go along with those ideas, and make sure that certain perspectives and certain particular criterias are matched. Now, the problems that even us conversating with many of the game developers is that the CTO is the marketing guy. And if CTO is doing marketing, he might not understand the publishing side of it. No disrespect, but they don't understand the publishing side, and they don't understand that what basically even a post by a gamer can mean. But it's not just about paying. A lot of the projects go to go to KOL metrics that hey, okay, LeBron James or anyone, posted about me, so that's the success of the game. It's not the success where you're paying them millions of users, millions of dollars. That should be rather spent rather than, I'll say, before even going into PR and Forbes and Coin Telegraph and all of these particular newspapers. I think the first and foremost responsibility towards the economical equity holders of that game is that you broaden the user base of your particular game. How do you do that? You have to work on the distribution of the game. How do you do that? You have to basically have a pre-UGC strategies. You need to have UGC strategies, launch strategies. You have to increase your retention rates. You need to have the post launch strategies for the CSP services, and every single CSP service should be regionally oriented. That means that if I have a game and I'm launching into South Asia side, or I'm launching into European market, I need to have someone from that region who can tackle, or who can basically provide that service to the audience, whether it's 100,000 gamers that are onboarded, or it's 100 gamers or 10 gamers that are onboarded. You have to keep servicing them in a better way, that in their own native language, and you have to create a regional teams for actually distribution of your game. Now it doesn't cost much, and I think the smartest way, for any Web3 gaming project, is to approach a specific market where the cost to acquisition, cost per user is lower. If your CPUs and ARPU, are lower to do, then you have a better chance of actually going for that initial, give more value to your shareholders and equity holders, who might come in again and help you financially as well. Being a startup in Web3 gaming can be tough. We understand that. That's why people mostly take that KOL approach, crypto KOL approach. They want that liquidity, and so that they can make that money. That's good, not bad at all. But at the same time, you need to have a broader vision on the game overall. So I do feel that when we look at the Western and European market, the cost per user is roughly estimated between, in European regions, around $5 to $7, and cost acquisition in extreme West like America and other parts is mainly around $11 to $12. But if we smartly look at the data and specifics of acquiring these users, we can emphasize in the regions where cost per user acquisition is lower. then you can push the you can go into South Asian regions where it can, even on a large scale, it can cost you around 50 cents to $1 to acquire a user. That definitely helps to increase the valuation of your particular product, and it gains the confidence of your any specific regional audience to trust in your project, that hey, okay, they are able to handle these a million users or half a million users. That means that this product has a potential, and you take the same particular acquired user base, you keep servicing them and take the market. Then if you take that particular product in the Western audience, your cost per user is not $10 anymore or $12 anymore. It goes way lower because it's a word of mouth concept, and you have all the content generated and distributors. Now, these are basic the GTM strategies that are lacking and that need to be fixed, and that become one of the biggest barriers in these strategies. Lack of these strategies become one of the biggest barriers in the entry. Now, I don't think that government has put any sort of regulation on these games yet, whether be it's PC centric or whether it's mobile centric. And another thing is that yes, we do from the technical aspects. I do believe that mobile games have way higher potential. I understand that iOS supported games are very few there, and it's very tough to get them, get the users from iOS. That's why we prefer recommending our particular Web3 games to come into the South Asian region, where it's, we don't call it mobile centric market, we call it mobile only market, where 88% of the users or internet users are mainly people with the mobile phones. Now, if out of that 88%, if I filter further, 70% are Android users, because Androids, there is a lot of variety of Androids into that. A player, we have to think about the game mechanics and the quality of the game as well. You have to make sure that it's not the quality of that is important from the technical aspect, rather than focusing on 90 FPS game. A player should or phone, you should also be making sure that a user should be able to play it from at 30 FPS as well, right? So and when you do all of those things, I think the main key importance also is that you need to have a very solid strategy of developing esports, have slot metrics, need to have API hostings for the game. And if the API keys and API hosting, OBS API hostings as well are generated, you can enhance the game fans to basically stream and generate content on it and distribute it. But also at the same time, you have to resolve those issues of building a larger and viable community overall. So I believe these are the key aspects to it, and I think in every game, every single minute detail is important. You need to have every single regional impacts, regional effects into the game. So those also should be resolved, and integration into live streaming platforms is very important. Co-creation strategies are very important. If I say that in the nutshell towards the end, these are not only the barriers to entry, but these are the solutions to break those barriers and move on a larger scale and follow the same roadmap as any other world's biggest giant publishers have followed. We have studied them, and data proves that that's the most viable way. So, yeah, I think that will what I would be sharing my views on today. I'm not able to hear you.
Sorry, I mute my mic. I'm thinking in the same time. It's really a source of inspiration. Thanks for sharing your expertise, your vision in a so smart, pragmatic, and with a multidimensional, concrete way of so bringing solution, and it's really interesting. I heard a lot of magic word. I used to also use in a different context. So I'm really glad seeing that we bring through Web3 Stronger Together a lot of really diversify personality, experience, background, vision, but we have something strong. We share something strong. We all, you know, I heard a lot about sustainability. You know, we can talk about marketing, delivering a game and thinking about sustainability, you know, and previously we had this topic and you talk about it in a different way, elegant way, you know, in a topic. Apparently it's there's no, it's all about quickly, fast, you know. Now we can do things properly. Co-creation, it's something we also discussed previously. It's really nice to see that in several domains, different people experiment and apply, and finally we all converge. We are trying to radically, you know, it's the mindset, it's the way to do, and we think, and you shared with us this in a really brilliant way. Thanks to you. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
contribution,
Thank
and
you for having me.
see you soon. Bye bye.
See you soon. Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you very much.